Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Going to Bat with Team Irie. This is episode number 33. If you've missed some of the previous episodes, you can scroll down the foundation page here and watch the other 32. And if you're interested in some of the upcoming episodes, you can just keep posted to our foundation page here. We usually post the day of or the day before who's going to be on the next interview. Also, if you'd like to find out about some of our public events and fundraisers that we have, and to donate to the foundation, which we raise money for spinal cord injury research and also high school baseball and softball scholarships, you can go to our foundation page website, which is dif35.org, and find out a lot of stuff on there. So tonight's guest is Brandon Berger, that was played formerly for the Kansas City Royals. How you doing tonight, Brandon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being on. We really do appreciate it. We kind of started out, trying to get people to know you a little bit better, and kind of like how your career has escalated through the years. Now, you played ball at Beechwood High School, and you were actually drafted by the White Sox while you were in high school, and you decided to go to Eastern, I guess, after high school instead of going straight to the pros or the minor leagues. What advice would you have for kids these days if they were in that same situation? Would you say education first, or would you say jump right straight to the minor leagues?
It depends on the situation. It depends on the round that the kid's drafted in, what kind of money the organization's offering, the maturity level of the kid, especially if they're going to get rid of some of these minor league teams. If you're going straight to A-ball, you're asking an 18-year-old to live on his own, find an apartment, and step into the real world. It's not an easy situation. So for me, I was drafted in the 41st round. It was pretty much a no-brainer for me to go to college. One, I needed to improve my skills, become a better baseball player. The offer wasn't going to be much, if anything. And, for me, it was EKU and, let's go try to, take 3 years to become a better baseball player. And then I was fortunate enough to get drafted again.
And, it's not an easy journey. I know that. And, making it to the big leagues is, thrill would be a thrill for anybody. But the minor leagues, I know some guys I've talked to said they went through the minor leagues in 3 or 4 years, and they really that was really quick. Some others took a little longer before they ever get to the majors. And of course, a lot of people never make it out of single A or double A or whatever. But, what was it like playing in the minor leagues? Because I've heard a lot of times, like low A or A, of course, it's a lot harder. Once you get to double A or higher, it's almost like you made it. But how was that journey? Was it kind of rough? How's it like actually playing in the lifestyle in the minor leagues?
It's a lot of ups and downs. It's not easy by any means. You're playing 140, 142 games in about 160 days, plenty of bus rides, hotels that aren't very nice. Back in my day, meal money was only about $20 a day. So trying to eat on $20 is not easy, and we're not making a whole lot of money. So there's definitely a grind to it, but there's also a passion there, a love of the game, and that your ultimate goal is to reach the big leagues. So you're going to do what it takes. But there's a lot of fun too. You spend more time with your teammates than I did with my wife. You're around them all day, pretty much every day, and the camaraderie. That's what I miss more than anything now, is just hanging out with the guys in a clubhouse atmosphere. And I miss competing, the competition of it. Those are things I miss, but it's definitely hard. And my road wasn't easy. I spent 3 years in high A. Not many guys do that. My first year of high A was a struggle. So I went back there to Wilmington, Delaware, and the second year played really well. Started the following year in double A and struggled, and they sent me back to Wilmington again. So I spent 3 years in high A ball, on those buses in the Carolina League in some cities that weren't that great, wondering, what am I doing? But, there was still a goal there for me to try to do the best I could to make it to the big leagues. And fortunately, the following year, I had a great year. And before you know it, September, I was in Kansas City.
Wow, that's something. You had a lot of challenges just to make it to the major leagues? And I know, a lot of people have challenges. What do you think the biggest challenge was to overcome for you to break that ceiling to make it to the major league? You was talking about your struggles, hitting, more playing time. What did it take for you to what's challenge, I guess I could say, was your biggest challenge just to make it to the major leagues?
Consistency at the plate. I wasn't a great outfielder by any means. So defensively, I was average at best probably, but I could hit. But for some reason, I was struggling. I wasn't very consistent. So in 2001, I start the season in Double-A Wichita, Kansas, and I'm on the Phantom DL, which means I'm on the disabled list, but I really wasn't hurt. I was that last guy in spring training to where I'm sure there was talks on releasing me or keeping me. And some coaches in that room fought for me to get me to Double-A. So I start, I don't play. I'm supposedly hurt for the first 7 days. And that's humbling when you're there and you're not hurt and you can't play. They're more or less telling you you're not as good as the other 23 guys we got on the roster. I eventually either somebody got hurt or somebody else started to struggle, so they brought me off the DL. And May 1st, we were in Round Rock, Texas, and I hit my first home run of the season May 1st. By September 1st, in 4 months, I hit 40 home runs. So I went from a guy that probably easily could have been released in spring training to was Double-A, 40 home runs, over 100 RBIs, and I'm in Kansas City once the September call-ups happened. So it went from a guy that's on his way out to is in the show. So it was an extraordinary year. I wish I could have bottled that up and continue that for the next couple of years. But, to go through the struggles and then to have that type of season was very rewarding, obviously, with a trip to the big leagues. And, the confidence that I had then, I knew I could play.
Exactly. And sound like you really came out of it hitting that 40 home runs. That's pretty good.
My high in the minor leagues before that may have been 15, 16, something along those lines. Nothing like that. But, Kevin Long, who was the hitting coach of the Washington Nationals, was my hitting coach a lot in a couple of the minor league seasons. And, he and I put a lot of work in. That year before spring training started, I went to Florida a month early. I lived in an apartment of one of my college buddies. He had like a little townhome in Tampa area. So I got to Florida early to put work in, and, something clicked. I got in a routine, especially in Wichita in our home, to where, early BP, before the game started, I went to the cages and hit off the tee every day, the same routine. Baseball players, we're a little superstitious at times. So I wanted to keep that routine the same every day, and just putting in the work. And something obviously clicked to where that summer for 4 months, I was pretty daggone good. And I was hitting the baseball at the ballpark on a pretty consistent basis. So it was work. I'm sure a lot of it was good luck, but, it was definitely a year I'll never forget.
Wow. That's really exciting. And, we've got a lot of comments over here. I don't know if you can see the comments or not, but we've got Kevin Gray. I think you know that guy. He says, yeah. Nice shirt, Brandon. And then Travis Sims, I think you know Travis. He says, love the shirt, Brandon.
Well, I had to represent Travis tonight. He's going through a battle, and, obviously thoughts and prayers with him and his family, and just, doing everything I can to support him. And so I thought I'd wear the shirt tonight.
Yep, Nicholas County Jacket Strong there. I think it says Jacket Strong. Yeah,
Jacket Strong, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Travis is a great guy. We interviewed him earlier this year, and you can see he's such a great guy. And then Brandon Walker, nephew, he says, hi, howdy, gentlemen. Greg Himes, I don't know if you know him, he says, Mike Bowles taught him everything he knows about life and baseball.
Mike Bowling was a trainer. Well, he went to Beechwood as well, and he was a trainer at Beechwood when I still coached football there, but he was a trainer there for a while. So, yeah, Mike Bowling he's a character too.
Travis Sam says you love it. That's why, I guess, talking about one of our other we was talking about earlier. Tom Posey says, Marcus went to Troy, Alabama last summer with me for Team Kentucky. Thanks for letting him go. Go Cubs, with Tom Cub Scout there. And but yeah, you've got a lot of comments down through there. I was trying to keep up with all of them while we were talking. I kind of lost track and had to scroll up to find them. But yeah, I know, we talked about, getting up to the major leagues, but a lot of guys, and I like to hear the little stories because it's always something that's a little different with everybody. But what was it like getting that call that you were going to the majors?
Well, I mean, that's every kid's dream.
Yes.
Early in August, or it's mid-August probably, Joe Randa hurt his hamstring or the sore hamstring. So they didn't call me up, but they brought me to Kansas City, and they were debating whether to put Joe on the DL. If they put him on the DL, I was going to be activated. If not, I drove to Kansas City, took BP, took some fly balls, and was going to get back in my car and go back to Wichita. So I'm up there. I hadn't eaten hardly anything all day long. I'm out there on the field. My dream is coming true, and I'm about ready to pass out because I got nothing in my stomach. I got nerves going. I'm going 100 miles an hour thinking I got to do everything I can to impress these people. And I thought I was going to die of the heat. Well, we go through the workouts. I'm exhausted. And they decide Randa's not going to go on the DL. So I get back in my car. I watch the game, get back in my car, and go back to Wichita, finish off the season. So I knew when we made the playoffs that year in Wichita, I had a really good idea that I was going to get called back up. But still, when the manager, Keith Bodie, called me in the office, and he said, "You're going to Kansas City," I was like, I was pretty pleased. And my wife, who was pregnant with Marcus at the time, was back home. So I called her, called my parents, which was a nice time, a nice moment for me and my parents and my wife. And then it was off to Arlington, Texas, is where the Royals were. So I made my debut in Arlington as a pinch runner. And I look back, and the shortstop's Alex Rodriguez. I'm like, well, welcome to the big kid. So it was a moment that I'll never forget. That's what we play the game because we love it, but when you strive to get that opportunity, it was very rewarding. I was pretty excited that day, get into Arlington. That stadium looked as big as any stadium I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, everything's a lot bigger in Texas, but just hearing your experience about getting that call, it's always a cool story to hear that. And, I couldn't imagine what that feels like, but, it's always a cool story when, people talk about that call that, has actually had that call. Kevin Gray says, talking to Tommy Posey there, said his son Mitchell will be playing for you down there as well. Travis Sims says, "Hey, David, Brandon is my cousin. He was a great baseball and football player, very good dude. Don't let that go to your head now." And looks like Greg Himes says, "I did rehab with Brandon during the high school days. I saw him play then and knew he was going to be a special player." So that's just some of the comments I'm trying to keep up there with. But when you were, your first home run, I know a lot of people remember their first home run. Do you remember your first home run and who it was against and where it was at and all that good stuff?
Oh, yeah. Mark Burley in Chicago. My first big league hit was off of him maybe two innings before that. And it was actually a little flare into right field. And Paul Konerka is playing first base. And, of course, they get the ball, and he goes, "That's your first hit?" Well, I didn't care. I got a hit, right?
Yeah.
So, next time up, he hung a curveball in straightaway center field. So first home run off of Burley. And actually, that's one guy I had a lot of success off of. I had 8 career home runs, and 4 of them were off him. So that was one guy that – and I usually only played versus lefties. If a lefty was throwing, I was usually starting. If a righty was throwing, I was normally on the bench. So I saw mainly lefties, but that was one guy that, I had his number. And it was, the funny thing is Burley did an interview one time, and they were asking about who are the 3, 4, whatever toughest hitters you faced. He names Alex Rodriguez and 2 guys that most people never even heard of, me and Shane Halter. So it was, get a good chuckle out of that. But that's the one guy that, for one reason or another, I don't really know, I saw the ball well off of and had a lot of success against.
That's pretty cool. And, we was talking to Johnny LeMaster, did an interview with him one day, and he was talking about his first career hits in the majors, which he's only a few that done this. Well, I think the second at the time. I don't know how many done this since him, but his first hit was a home run, but it was inside the park home run. And he said, they was playing against the Dodgers, and he was getting ready to. He didn't think he was going to play. He just arrived up there, and he said the veterans, hid his shoes on him, so he couldn't find his shoes, and they told him to get in the game, and he thought, you mean you're talking to me? But Tommy said he found his shoes and got into the game. He said he didn't even have time to warm up his very first game, but he said his very first hit, he had a great inside the park home run. He said he hit a seam or something there at Dodger Stadium, and then took off. I think it was at Dodger Stadium, and he said that was his first hit, and he inside the park home run. And I'd say that was probably the most memorable thing for him, especially doing that. All through your career, thinking back, what would you say has been your most memorable moment?
Probably 2003. I made the opening day roster, and we were playing the White Sox, and Burley got the start, so I got to start opening day. And opening day everywhere. I mean, obviously here in Cincinnati, it's a big deal, but it's a big deal everywhere. So to have that opportunity to start on opening day, and in the first inning, I'm in right field, and I think it was Maglio Ordonez hammers the ball into right. I go back, catch it as I'm colliding with the wall, make the catch, end up standing on my head, come off, limping a little bit. It hurt, but as I'm coming in the dugout, I'm getting a standing ovation in Kauffman Stadium. And that was the year that we got off to a really good start. I mean, we were like 15-2, which didn't happen a whole lot back then in Kansas City. Now I've had success since then, but so that for me is probably the most memorable moment. And I got called up right before September 11th of 2001. So 9/11 was was going on then, and so when we came back to baseball after that tragedy, that was an emotional time for everybody. Going back to the stadium and wearing all the the police officer or fireman hats that they gave us to wear, and all the things going on with the country. That was memorable as well. But opening day for me, just because that's to be the atmosphere. That's one of the few times that Kauffman Stadium sold out. There's 40,000 people there, and that for me is probably the most memorable.
Yeah, you're probably not. You'll never forget that. My Uncle Bob, he says, I believe Burley pitched a perfect game.
I believe he did.
Yeah. Yep. So that's pretty good. To be one of the guys that owned him there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what about him was. He wasn't overpowering. He had a little cutter, just changed speeds, moved it in and out. But for some reason, I wish I could see him all the time. I might still be playing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You'd probably still be in the major leagues now instead of retired. But, we talk a lot about talk about being in the major leagues. But what's the biggest difference besides pay, I guess you could say, between AAA, what you see and the players you play? Is there a big difference between AAA and the majors that step there?
Well, you said it first, money. That's number one. There's a difference, yes. A lot of guys in AAA are veterans for the most part, guys that have been up in the big leagues but weren't able to establish themselves as everyday players. So you'd see more older guys that knew how to pitch but maybe didn't have the best stuff to stick up there. And AAA it's a weird situation. I mean, obviously you want to be there, you want to win games, but everybody knows they're one step away from the big leagues. So there's more focus on what's going on in Kansas City than maybe sometimes what was going on in Omaha. And that was, I'm sure, frustrating for our managers because there's sometimes we weren't playing that well, but we were more worried about what was going on. Did anybody get hurt? Somebody struggling? What can I do to get back to the big leagues? So it's a weird situation, but overall, AAA is really good. It's just you're that fringe player. I mean, and that's pretty much what I ended up being. I spent part of 4 seasons in the big leagues, but I was never able to stick. They tell you it's hard to get to the big leagues. It's harder to stay in the big leagues, and that's tough, man. You get there, especially as a role player like I was, or a bench player, to try to stick is really, really hard. So I spent my time in 2002, I shuffled back and forth probably 3 times from Kansas City to Omaha. Just never was able to be consistent enough to be an everyday guy or to be a steady bench guy. The one time I got sent down was because we got rained out. I mean, a doubleheader a week later or 2 weeks later when that team came into town again. And, that was kind of the raw end of the deal there because I was the 25th guy. So I'm out. And I was actually playing decent and the team was playing well, but we got superstars that obviously aren't going anywhere. And you got me, the rookie, that's, all right, go to Omaha. So it's tough. But it's definitely AAA is a whole lot better than the lower levels of the minor leagues. You're in bigger cities. You're staying in better hotels. You're traveling a little bit more by airplane than you are on a bus. The stadiums are a little nicer. And you're one step away. So you better be locked in and focused on doing your job to prepare yourself. So if you do get that call, you're ready. Instead of you'll have some guys down there that are, I don't want to say the word pouting, but they're down because they're down there. They don't feel like they should be there. So it's definitely a tough spot for a manager to try to deal with everybody that wants to get back to the big leagues and doesn't feel like they belong there, that they should be back in the show. So it's definitely a tough situation, but overall the talent's really good, and you better bring your A game.
Yeah, I know Willie Blair. We had him on here the other night, and he was talking about hard enough to make it to the majors, but it's always it's hard to stay there too. So I mean, I've had a few people tell me that unless you're a superstar or whatever, correct, once you first get in there, they say it's really hard to stay there.
It is, and I should have probably reached out or tried to, like Matt Stairs was on one of the teams. I don't remember which year it was, a veteran guy that was a bench player. I probably should have tried to get under his wing a little bit more just to get a little bit of insight on, my role for the most part, for most games as a pinch hitter. And when you're not used to doing that, it's hard. You step in the box, you're not loose. You've been sitting in there in the dugout for 7-8 innings. His advice probably would have been get up there and first good pitch you see, swing at it. Well, I want to get in there and get a little bit of a feel what's going on here before I know it. I'm behind the count and I'm making out. So looking back on it, I wish that I'd have been able to get under some of the veteran players to just get a little bit more knowledge from them, especially on being a bench guy, on preparation, and what some of the things they're looking for when they step in there. So it's, Matt Stairs would have been a good one to be with, and he was there and he was great, but I was the rookie. I wasn't going to talk to anybody. I was nervous as can be. And I wish I'd have been a little bit more outgoing to, hey, Matt, help me with this, help me with that. But in the same breath there, not all the time are those guys willing to help you. Hey, rookie, you figured it out on your own. I don't want you taking my job. Yeah. So it's it's a tough situation there, but I wish I could have done a little bit better job in that role that I was usually in, being a bench player. Yes,
I completely understand what you're talking about. We have William Warfield, the king of stream there. He says, hey, David and Brandon. He want to know he said, how's my good friend Ryan O'Hearn doing in the big leagues? And he says, Class A Lexington is really good too. So you know Ryan O'Hearn?
I do not.
Okay. And then Mike Long says, Brandon, what was Omaha like as a minor league town as compared to others? Good baseball city?
See, most people look at Omaha and they think of the College World Series. And I played there when it was Rosenblatt Stadium, the old one. So you watch the College World Series and the place is packed. There's not a seat to be had. You come to an Omaha Royals game and there's a lot of seats that aren't full. So it was fine. I mean, it's a nice city. In my last year there, I lived downtown in a loft apartment in Omaha. It was nice. It's a good city. It wasn't anything like you see with the College World Series. Now they have a new stadium. I think it's out in west part of Omaha. I don't know how they draw, but I'm sure it's better than what it was when I was there. And you would be surprised. The facilities at the old Rosenblatt Stadium were not very nice. The clubhouse was small, just not a great place. But it was a nice place to hit. Don't get me wrong, especially when the wind blows out at old Rosenblatt. It could be a home run derby. Now the new place they have for the College World Series, right down there by Creighton, that's a bigger ballpark, and they're struggling to hit home runs. But back in Rosenblatt, especially when the wind's blowing out, that's a nice place to hit.
Wow. And I know, when you were in the majors, of course, you do a lot of things on the road. You travel a lot. Being a Major League Baseball player, what do you do with your free time, like when you're away from home? What do you do to occupy yourself?
One, I'd sleep because I had Marcus at the time. My oldest son was probably 1, 2, and 3 years old when I was in the big league. So at home, I wasn't getting a whole lot of sleep. So on the road, I try to get some sleep. And normally some guys, we'd always go grab lunch somewhere. You're in nice cities. We stay pretty much downtown. We'd walk around the cities, hang out, watch some TV, do whatever. But we got to the ballpark pretty early. And that was one of the veteran rules. As a rookie, I better not let them beat me to the ballpark. So, that game may start at 7 o'clock, and we may not even stretch until, let's say, 4:45, something like that. We were getting the field by 2 o'clock. And if a veteran beat me to the ballpark, they'd let me know about it. So, I'm getting there at 2:15. Then you got to figure out what are you going to do for 2 hours to kill time. Now, today, and even back then we had some, you could watch video of that night's pitcher. You could go get some work in the cages. Obviously, all those major league clubhouses, they've got a nice kitchen area. You can go eat, do all that kind of stuff. You could stretch, you could lift weights, things to do. But if you're talking, before we got to the ballpark, it was mainly, go get some lunch, hang out, after games. I mean, obviously, guys could, hit the nightlife if they wanted to. For me, I was pretty much a go back to my hotel, hang out, try to unwind, and then go to sleep. But we play some cards. If we got there early, we go maybe hit a little bit and then go back in and play cribbage or, something along those lines, a card game just to kind of relax, hang out, and then, it's time to prepare. It's time to be ready to go play. They do a lot more with video now, with scouting reports, watching the opposing pitcher. There's so much more of that now than there was when I was playing.
Al Oliver, when I interviewed him, he was talking about when they were on the road. He said, I didn't get out of the hotel. He said, I went to the hotel. I didn't get out till game time or before game time. Went to the stadium. When it was over, went back to the hotel. He said, I didn't get out and run around. He said, I just stayed in the hotel and slept or whatever and just went to the game, went back to the hotel, and then ready to go. But, of course, different people, have different ways. We have Kevin Gray says Brandon is a huge reason for our hitting success with our guys. Unbelievable hitting instructor, great guy, which we're going to get in that here after a while. Phyllis Sam says, hi, Brandon, love your shirt.
Glad you like it.
Yeah, and we've got William Warfield, which this was something, I was going to ask you too here for a while, but we'll go ahead and ask it now. What does Brandon think about the 60-game format where division plays division, 40 games, and plays 20 interleague versus National League East, Reds versus Royals, 4 games, Royals versus Cubs, 4 games? What do you think about that format?
It's different, but right now I think any of us will take baseball. Whatever they got to do to get back on the field, that's something we all want right now as a country. For me, it's like I haven't seen a sporting event really in the last 2-3 months, and that's pretty much all I watch on TV. So, I don't know all the ins and outs of why they couldn't come to an agreement. I understand that, there's players, you got to look out for your best interest. But in a time when the pandemic's going on, you got a bunch of fans that are just starving for something. So it may have been a time for maybe some players to give in. But I understand, they've got, their agents telling them that that's not a good deal. And they're going to have to go here in a year or so and collective bargain again. And if you start giving in now, then the owners may want to try to take that even further down the road. And I think the owners, are eventually going to want to try to get a salary cap. And that's the one thing about baseball, with no salary cap and also guaranteed salaries. When I told you earlier, I coached football at Beechwood. Well, Derek Brills was a former Bengal, and he coached for a long time. Great guy. Couldn't say enough good things about Derek. Well, he'd always give me, crap about, as a baseball player, if I sign a 3-year, I don't know, let's say $9 million deal, I'm guaranteed that $9 million, whether I play like garbage or play like an all-star. Where in football, those contracts aren't guaranteed. So baseball, they've done a nice job as a players' union of taking care of their guys. Now, could they take care of the minor leaguers a little better? Sure. Especially back then, man, we were making peanuts and our conditions weren't that great. But, they have a strong union, and they were obviously getting advice that don't take a deal. And so it's, for the 60 games, at least it's something. At least it's something we have to look forward to at the end of July to actually see baseball on TV. I don't know if anybody will be in the stands, but at least it gets an opportunity. And I understand, the travel part of it, keeping the teams in the Midwest, play the Midwest. I get all that. It'll be different, but it's new. And I think we're hungry enough for baseball that I don't think it's going to matter who's playing who. We're just going to be excited to watch the game.
Exactly. And Brandon Walker, he says, how about the new playoff format? Do players have an opportunity to make more playoff money the way they're talking this year?
I thought I read a couple of days ago with the players not accepting the offer that there's no playoff money for the players this year. I could be wrong, but I thought I read that there was no playoff shares. That's a lot of money for the teams that make to the World Series. Their playoff shares are like 6 figures or more. That's a lot of money to turn down. But I think the players, from what I've read, they didn't take that deal. They're eventually going to file a grievance. By not taking the deal, that gave them the opportunity to do that. Now, whether they'll win that grievance or not, I don't know. But I think that's what some of the big-time agents were telling the guys is, don't take the deal. We'll file a grievance, and we'll see if we can't recoup some of that money. But it's it's tough. There's some players that are speaking out against it, saying we should have taken a deal a long time ago. And there's others that are steadfast in their ways that, we're not taking the deal. It's not what's in our best interest. And these owners are, billionaires that make money all the time. Every year they're making money. I don't see them, we made extra money this year, we're going to give it to the players. No, that goes in their pockets. But now they're going to have a year where they're not making as much money, and they want the players to give in. and take less. So it's I understand it from a player's point of view. The owners have been making money for years. The 1 year they're going to lose a little money. Well, what have you been doing with that money you've been making? Why should the player have to give it away, give it back? So I see it. It's tough. The players are put in a tough situation. You hear them all $1 million players go out and play. Well, it's not that easy, and there's more things to it than that.
Exactly, and which I understand both sides of the story. When it comes to the players saying that the owners wouldn't share the money with them when they were having good times. Now they want to split it with them when they're having bad times. And then I've heard people say, "Well, that's capitalism." So I don't know, but you hear everything, and people different opinions on everything. Have you ever played at Cincinnati? I know you were with Kansas City, but they ever do interleague there against Cincinnati Reds?
No. The interleague cities I went to, the Mets, the Cardinals, Montreal Expos. I'll take you back in time a little bit. I think those were the three. I think it was Montreal, St. Louis, and the New York Mets were the three National League stadiums that I remember that being in.
I always loved Montreal Expos uniforms. So it's like you can't find anything anywhere, that has, you can't find banners, you can't find anything with the Expos trademark on it. It's crazy no matter where you go. But Travis Sims says, I can watch the Redlegs on Fox Sports. I'm happy. And I know he's a big St. Louis Cardinal fan.
Yeah, well, my last year was with the Cardinals, so I have a little bit of a love for the Cardinals. That's a first-class organization. When I was there that last year, Tony La Russa was the manager, and he's an interesting guy. But they do things right. Not that Kansas City didn't. It was just a different way of doing it. They had veteran players. They had a lot of success. That was Albert Pujols, Larry Walker, Jim Edmonds, Yadi Molina. They had some players. Mulder, Mark Mulder pitching. So it was definitely different in spring training. With Kansas City, it was just different. I mean, as outfielders, when we started doing whether it's first and third or bunt defense or whatever drill fundamental we were doing that day, outfielders ran the bases in Kansas City. St. Louis, Larry Walker, Jim Edmonds, and the rest of them, we just went to the clubhouse. They either found somebody else to run or they didn't have base runners. It was just different. But that's a first-class organization. There's some great guys. I mean, Albert Pujols, he didn't know me from Adam, but we had a friend in common. The Kansas City strength coach and Albert were good buddies. So when I came in there early in camp, he came over, started talking to me. We talked about our mutual friend. Mark Mulder was the same way. When he was at Michigan State, he played for Greg Gunderson as a pitching coach. Well, Greg Gunderson was the pitching coach at EKU when I was there. So he had talked to Mulder, and so Mark and I got a chance to talk, at spring training one day, sitting over lunch, and I was talking about Gundy, and so it was nice. And the Cardinals, man, they do it the right way. I mean, I realize as a Reds fan, that's probably blasphemy to say that I like the Cardinals, but when I was a part of that organization, they definitely are first class in what they do.
Yeah, I saw a picture with you in a Cardinals uniform, but being a Reds fan, I didn't put it on Facebook.
Yeah, I understand.
I had to put the Kansas City Royals on
there. Well.
Yeah, I know, but I know Travis Sims, he says, ask Brandon what his summer team's name is. I'll follow on Game Changer.
At the Yard Baseball Club, 15U.
There you go, Travis.
We've, I've got a pretty solid team. I think we're 9-5. We've been able to get 3 tournaments in so far. We just got back from Hoover, Alabama, this past weekend. We went down there for a WWBA Net Elite National Championship. Played some great competition. First game we draw a top tier team out of Florida, and they beat us 1-0. And the year before, and my guys tell me, I don't do all the research. My 15-year-olds come up and tell me that this team was ranked number 1 in the country last year at 14U. And they had a solid baseball team. And everybody out there playing defense, except for the third baseman, was a D1 commit. They had a guy going to Auburn, a guy going to LSU, and we competed with them. I mean, it was a 1-0 game, and we had opportunities to score. And really, the run we gave up, we shouldn't have. So it was, to go to a tournament like that with that type of competition. We went 2-3 while we were down there, but just to give them an experience of playing in a venue like the Met. We didn't get to play in the big stadium where the Birmingham Barons play, but they've got 4 or 5 fields around it that were beautiful. 2 high school fields we played on, Hoover High School and Spain Park. I mean, you'd be amazed at how nice those ballparks are. So to play that competition, it's unfortunate that the college coaches right now are on an extended dead period time of recruiting. That's why we get in these tournaments, is to try to get my kids in front of college coaches. I mean, obviously I'm as competitive as they come. I hate losing more than I enjoy winning. But it's about the kids and giving them an opportunity to show against top competition, these college coaches, what they can do. So that's unfortunate right now, but we're heading to Atlanta tomorrow. We're playing East Cobb in the WWBA National Championship. So there was 300 teams at our age group in the tournament, but because of COVID and some of the other stuff going on in Atlanta, it's down to 180 teams. But, and we draw probably one of the best teams in the tournament. They got 9 guys that are already committed to D1 too, as soon to be sophomores. It's amazing some of the talent and some of the that these guys have. And it's not, when I say D1, I'm not talking about EKU. I'm talking Duke, Georgia Tech, Oregon State, Notre Dame, Arkansas. These are some of these commits are going. But trying to tell my kids today, it's baseball. Any given day, any team can beat another. And I think my guys from last weekend, when we played that team 1-0, and they ended up going to the championship game and getting rained out. We probably gave them their best game, or maybe the East Cobb Astros, they played a 10-8 game, but we were right there with them. So we've got some talent, and hopefully, in a couple of years, all my guys are commitment somewhere to go play college baseball.
We have William Warfield, which he was talking about the Cardinals, and I won't say everything he says here. I don't want to go into an adult drama here, but he said P on the Cardinals. He didn't say P.
Yeah.
He said go Cubs. So he must be a Cubs fan. But Mike Long wanted to know, who was your coach at EKU? Was it Coach Ward?
Yes, Jim Ward.
There you go.
The Bear. Yeah, he was tough, but the lessons that man taught me, I may have not liked him at the time, but looking back on it, it was some education there. I mean, we were clean shaven every day. We polished our shoes every game. We sprinted on and off the field. We had other rules that I probably didn't like as much, but he was an old school guy, and he taught me a lot about the game of baseball. He taught me a lot about life too. I mean, there was, like I told you earlier, I'm competitive, man. I don't like making an out. And sometimes my dugout behavior wasn't always great. Let's just put it that way. And he'd sit me down, and he was a great Christian, and we would talk about the Lord, and he would try to give me some other strengths, some other avenues to maybe get rid of some of my frustrations. But Coach Ward, he did a great job. I mean, it was an old school way of doing things, but he taught me a lot about the game of baseball.
We talked about the major league, when you played in the major league. Was there a certain pitcher that you thought was the toughest pitcher you ever faced, or there might have been a couple, but who was the toughest pitcher, in your opinion, that you ever faced?
The one at bat that sticks in my mind is probably I think it was Arthur Rhodes. I think that was his name. He was a lefty reliever he was actually with the Mariners. He's been around a bunch of different teams. And he was throwing mid-90s probably then as a lefty, but he would short arm that thing, throw it about right from his ear. I couldn't pick it up. He threw 3 fastballs right by me, and I don't even know if I saw him. I mean, I swung at him, but I didn't come close to him. But CC Sabathia was another good one. Burley obviously had a lot of success. I faced Zito a couple times. Trying to think of some of the other lefties, but I would say probably Arthur Rhodes. He got that ball on me before I knew it. And then the thing is I think it was earlier that game, if I remember correctly, Jamie Moyer started the game. Well, he probably didn't break 85 miles an hour. I mean, he was slow, and slower, change up after change up. And then they bring him in at 95, probably looked 110. But it is none of the pitching I can tell you was fun. It was everybody up there's got good stuff.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be at that level, I guess, if you didn't,
Right.
But all through your career there, you played for the Royals and the Cardinals. Are there any stories, clubhouse stories that most memorable to you? That are funny stories that you can kind of let us know that went on, even yourself, for yourself or somebody else?
In the big leagues for us, maybe it's because we didn't have a ton of success. There wasn't that much stuff that went on in the big league clubhouse, antics wise. I mean, there's some, don't get me wrong. But it was pretty much a keep to yourself type thing. I mean, you had a couple that might be buddy, but it can actually be a little lonely at times in the big leagues because it's like 25 guys that stay to themselves for the most part. I mean, you do some stuff at times, but it was, not a whole lot of antics went on. Now in the minor leagues, completely different story. You're with those guys, you're grinding. You're horsing around trying to, do something every day. For me, one that sticks out was in Wichita. Man, you talking about July and August in Wichita. It is so hot and miserable, sticky, humid, just terrible. Well, we're out in the field every day. If that game starts at 7, we could be on the field by 3:30 with early work, stretch, BP. The other team takes BP. We come back out, take infield. So you're sweating all day, every day. Just you walk outside and you're sweating in Wichita in the summer. So I was a guy who I like to put baby powder down there so I didn't chafe. Well, I had a couple pitchers that thought it was funny. They emptied out the baby powder and put the gold brand that burned like you've never been burned before. And they thought it was hilarious. As I go and do my normal routine, I told you I was routine oriented. I go to my routine, go in the bathroom, grab the baby powder. All right, and I was on fire. And they just thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. I mean, we'll try to find a way to get you guys back. So yeah, you have those antics that, emptying out the shampoo and putting something else in there. Maybe putting something in somebody's locker, but the baby powder one to me, I didn't think it was that funny. So it's, you got the icy hot type stuff too, or, somebody wears a cup. They want to put a little icy hot in the guy's jockstrap, and he goes out there and he is not a happy camper. I can tell you that.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I know a guy here, I won't name a name or anything, but somebody I knew, he was working in the field, came home sweaty. He thought he was grabbing some salve because he was scalded there and it was icy hot, and he rubbed it there and it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. So, but he was an older guy. Yeah, he was an older guy, and which is, couldn't see very well what he was grabbing, but once he grabbed it, he found out pretty quickly.
No, I bet he did.
Travis Sam says, your jacket, strong brother. We got this. Warfield, he wanted to know, did you play with Lee Chapman at EKU?
I don't believe so. I think when I went back for one of the alumni events, Lee was there. I don't remember if I did. He was a freshman, but I think he was like a year or so after me, after
Okay.
I left.
Okay, Mike Long says spot on with your comments about Coach Ward. Brandon, he was a great guy. Bob Iris says Arthur played well for the Reds, and he said Moyer was about 50 when he retired, threw about 70 miles an hour at the end, and still got people out.
Yes, he did.
And Larry Britz, love your shirt. Mike Long, Digger Phelps, he's a Digger Phelps son-in-law. And Bob said Jamie Moyer is Digger's son-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And that they're talking back and forth. But, we talked a little bit about the new proposal, going in for a 60-game season. I wanted to ask you about this. This was something that we tried last year to showcase in Lexington at Whitaker Bank Ballpark with some of the high school teams I've had there, because the game was going in, extra innings and we was running up against the clock. But they're talking about the second base guy, putting somebody out there on second base. If you're going to extra innings, automatically put somebody on second base when that inning starts. When you go to bat, what do you think about that?
I don't like it.
I don't either.
It's not baseball to me. And they do that in some of these 15U tournaments. And I get it. There's time limits and all that stuff, but there's no time limit in Major League Baseball. I understand with maybe some arm injuries and, people talk about the games takes forever. I get it. But if you're a purist, man, you can't enjoy somebody just getting a guy on second base. That's not the way the game's played. The first 9 innings, why we can do it in the 10th? For me, no. I played in a minor league game. Actually, I didn't get in the game. I sat the bench for 21 innings. We played 21 innings in Wilmington, Delaware, 21, 22, something crazy like that. I didn't get in the game. I watched it, and we were there for about 6 hours. I get it, but that's baseball. You got to find a way to manufacture a run. You shouldn't be rewarded just by putting a guy on second base, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like it at the tournaments that we play in right now that I coach. Let's just play baseball.
I'm with you exactly. William Warfield said they did that in minors all last year, second base runner in extra innings, but I don't like it. We done it in Whitaker, like I said, because the legends were going to practice on the field and we had to hurry up and get done. Right. Because, they own the field. So we had to do something. But, I guess they think where, they're not having that long of a spring season, spring training, that their arms won't be as strong as usual. And, they're worried about going too long and the arms of the pitchers and that kind of stuff. But whatever the reason, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand from an injury point of view that you don't want to, make some guy that's maybe throwing 2 days in a row and you're in the 15th inning, you got nobody else. I get it. But I thought they were expanding the rosters for these 60 games because of that reason. And I understand at times the games can last a little longer than most people may want. But, it is what it is. Not that many games.
No.
Going to that, extra innings all the time. So I don't think it's enough games they're affected by that to make that rule. But, it is what it is. I don't like it.
I don't either. I mean, that's baseball. That's just, I don't like it at all either. Now, the DH in the National League, I can live with that. I know it takes a lot of strategy out of the game for the manager, having a DH and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't care. I can live with that. It's just a second base thing that just drives me crazy.
As a former bench player, I love the DH. Gives another hitter like myself an opportunity. But it does take the strategy out of the game. There's no doubt. And purists may not like it. But for me, who did spend some time as a DH, sure, the more chances I got to play, the better it was. So I'm all for the DH.
Yeah, I know. And Bob Iris says Jamie Moyer won 269 games with a 4.12 lifetime ERA.
Yeah, man, the guy didn't throw hard. I mean, that's one guy, at least early in his career, may have. When I saw him, he wasn't throwing very hard. But that just shows you, you change speeds, locate, you can get people out.
Exactly. Now, after baseball and everything, you've started a training facility down there called At the Yard. Is that located there in Northern Kentucky? And what do you do there? What do the kids do there?
Yeah, it's located in Florence, Kentucky. Chris Hook, who is the major league pitching coach for the Milwaukee Brewers, he started it back in 2001. And he still comes in the winter and does some things. But once I was done playing, I had done lessons there when I was still playing at the end. I bought into it. And we have a 4,000 or so square foot facility that we do individual lessons, group lessons. Some teams will come in for like a clinic at times. Teams rent it out. We do baseball and softball, fast pitch, hitting and catching instruction there as well. So it's it's a rewarding. It keeps me in the game, and I feel like I get an opportunity to to teach kids some of the things that I learned, and to try to help them become better baseball players. I mean, I can take. I've had some really good players come in there that it was pretty much tinker here and there, but hey, you guys are good. Let's just get our work in and be done. But the rewarding thing for me personally is taking the kid. I'm not gonna say his name, but he came to me probably 6-7 years ago. He's a senior. He was a senior this year in high school. He came to me. Let's say he was 12. Half-hour lesson. I'm not sure he made contact one time. I was like, oh my, what am I going to do now? I was like, well, I'll probably never see them again. Dad and him are going to leave like, this guy's an idiot. He didn't hit one ball. By the end of that season, he had made the all-star team of the league he was playing in.
Wow.
Now, he just committed to go play college baseball a couple weeks ago. And he's not going to a big school. And he hasn't had a great high school career by any means. But to me, that's more rewarding than getting the superstar that I really don't have to do a whole lot with, who is just talented as can be, taking that guy who didn't make contact the first 30 minutes we did things. So now he's going to play college. That's more why I do what I do is for those type of situations that, that's very rewarding for me to be able to help that kid become a better baseball player.
Now, do you have coaches down there help you out from that area? Who do you have help you with these kids? I know you probably can't do it all yourself. And have you ever had anybody from like this area, Lewis County, Maysville, Mason County, to go down there and work out at your facility?
No, I don't think we've had anybody that I can remember. Instructor-wise, like Chris Hook, like I said, the Milwaukee Brewers pitching coach, when he's available, anybody that wants to pitch usually tries to get in with him. But we have other instructors, Caleb Lonkard, who played at NKU, and he actually helps coach on the 15U team with me. He played at Ryle and then at NKU. Joe Martin's a former Highlands Bluebird, and he pitched at NKU, and he does some pitching lessons. Kevin Goins, who's Scott's head coach, and also coaches with Commonwealth Baseball Club in the summer. When he moved up here, he was looking for a place to do some things. Tanya Vertigo, she does some softball stuff. She played at Arizona State University. And she does a really good job. So it's kind of neat seeing the girls come in there. I don't know a whole bunch about fast pitch softball. My daughter doesn't play softball. She's a soccer and basketball. But we do that, and we have teams from 10U up to 18U that use our facility to practice over the winter. And obviously I coached the one team. I was coaching two teams when both my boys were still playing. But my oldest just graduated from high school, so now I'm just with my younger son. But it's good. I mean, it's not a huge facility by any means, but it's I stay pretty busy pretty much year round.
Yeah, and if people were interested in coming up for lessons, you say you usually have something there all year round. How do they find out, information? Do you have a website? Do you have a phone number? How can people, find out what you're doing, when to come there, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we have a website at theyard.com, and 647-7400. And people can book individual lessons, group lessons, We pretty much offer just about anything that we can do. Now, obviously, you can't do a full-on infield in that place. It's not big enough. But you can definitely throw bullpens. You can hit in the cages. So there's plenty of things for kids to do to stay busy and try to stay sharp with their skills.
And I guess that's 859 area code?
Yes, sir.
Because we're 606 here, so I wanted to make sure.
Yes, 859-647-7400.
All right, I appreciate it. And I guess that's about it. I want to thank you for coming on here tonight, and appreciate you spending a little time with us. And I know everybody, thanks everybody for coming on and watching and having questions. But yeah, we appreciate everything you do, and we're looking forward to. I know you've got some kids there playing ball, like you said, and everything. So hopefully, I'll get to see you down to Beechwood. I know Kevin Gray, we're talking about trying to get some different things going down there. So maybe I'll see you down there one day.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
You got it.